A wacky cruise cancellation and stories of cruisers behaving badly, including parents doing something super questionable on a cruise ship. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for your face. For your face on a Sunday the 15th of September, 2024. And well, I'm just a few short hours from heading to the airport to fly to Italy. When the moon. What's a good Italian song? I don't know. I'm very excited. I've got to fly from Tampa to Atlanta, from Atlanta over to Venice in Italy. I'll be there at like 11 a.m. tomorrow, Venice time. Look, I got a couple of short bucket list things that I hope I can do while I'm over there. Got a pretty packed schedule, but I would love to go see St. Mark's Basilica, and I would love to ride on a gondola and be serenaded by a gondolier. Gondolier! Shout out Ludacris. But first, I need to do my duty and process through some cruise news, including a story that's impacting cruisers today. Cruise news story number one, Royal Caribbean has notified passengers sailing on the September 15th sailing of Rhapsody of the Seas that their cruise has been cancellated. But interestingly, the cruise has not been canceled. Just some people's cruises have been canceled. Here's what happened. On the previous sailing of Rhapsody of the Seas, there was some damage to one of the lifeboats, and now the math doesn't work out. You have to have a certain amount of lifeboats for the amount of guests that you have on board, and well, you can either get the lifeboat fixed toot sweet, quick, or you can decrease the amount of guests so that the ratio is correct and you're within the regulation. And well, the latter, the last thing, that's what Royal Caribbean has decided to do. They've notified some guests that, hey, you're sailing, you're not going to be able to go on it because we have to reduce the capacity. Rhapsody's sailing out of Puerto Rico, so this could be a challenge. I think these notifications just went out over the last couple days. So imagine that 2 days before your cruise that takes off in Puerto Rico, you get notified. Maybe you're on your way. Royal Caribbean is providing a 100% future cruise credit that can be used in the next year for people that have been canceled. And they're also going to be reimbursing some travel expenses that are non-refundable, stuff like flights, that kind of thing. I think there is a cap to it. That's a bummer, man. That would be a frustrating email to get. And I'm surprised there's not other levels of compensation. That's kind of other than just getting the future cruise credit. Maybe there is. So that's the question I throw out there. Were you scheduled to sail on Rhapsody of the Seas out of Puerto Rico today, September the 15th? Did you get anything more than what I just described? I would be curious to know. Leave a comment below. Now, with that sad cancellation news out of the way, I'm ready to hit you with 3 stories of cruisers behaving badly. But before I do that, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything going on in cruising, man, I'm excited. Cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification. Cruising. Okay, calm down. Please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thank you in advance. Okay. Cruiser behaving badly, number 1. 2 of these stories come from one post from Carnival brand ambassador John Heald, Johnny, from over there at Carnival, the mouthpiece, the man, the legend, the myth. He starts off by saying, now, do you remember some weeks ago I wrote about a chap on the Carnival Venezia who had demanded everyone at Java Blue on the Lido shush because he was having a work Zoom call? Now, it's probably wrong of me to say that this chap should have been led by their ear to the stocks. He and other guests had a chance to throw pastries at them. So it's the setup for the story to come, but I think this one's worth sitting on for a second. Man, there is nothing more annoying on a cruise ship than somebody having a phone conversation with their speaker on. You're just, hey, how's it going, Bob? Yeah, no. Hey, yeah. No, I remember. Yeah, you have that thing remove that mole. Yeah. How's Sue? Sue's doing good. And that's in the theater. So this is you don't use your speakerphone in public on a cruise ship or anywhere. It's just rude. Get yourself some earbuds, and that makes sense. And don't tell people to shut up when you're trying to do your work call in a public place. Java Blue is the coffee shop there, and it's right there on the Lido. It's actually really nice on the Venezia. If it's what was I on? I was on the Firenze. Either way, I think they're laid out the same way. So can you imagine the folks are in line, they're trying to get their coffee, trying to get a little Danish, and Bob's trying to get the latest numbers from his team. And he's like, could you guys be quiet? Could you be quiet? I'm trying to work here. I would definitely accidentally spill something on that guy. So don't do that. I guess that's what I'm saying. Don't do that. And then Carnival's also issuing a warning in the same post, letting you know that if you linger too long in a foodery, particularly the Lido buffet, if you linger too long and it doesn't appear like you are eating, especially during peak times, they're going to ask you to move on. Here he says, and now a similar problem on a Journey cruise currently sailing. 2 people were playing cards at 12:45 p.m. That's the hot time for lunch, 12 to 1. And the busy time for the Lido lunch. They were politely asked to allow to stop because guests wanted to sit there and eat. And they wrote to me saying that the crew member was rude. Well, you get the picture. John is addressing it in the way that he does. If you are there playing cards in the Lido or just taking up space or doing anything, be mindful. Be mindful of other people trying to sit down. I guess the other thing is, don't take a table for 6 if you're one person. If you're 2 people, don't take a table for 6. I would say maybe don't even take a table for 4. I've been guilty of that though. So, I'm working on myself here. This is the work we're all doing. Sometimes I will sit at a table of 4 when I'm just 2 people. But honestly, if you endeavor to go hang out in the Lido during the busiest peak times when people are trying to eat, don't do that. Shame on you. Get up and get out of the way. Find somewhere else to sit on the cruise ship. I know sometimes the Wi-Fi is the best at the top of the ship, or it's nice to have a table to spread out on. I guess the other side of that argument though is, look, I paid my money. I'll sit wherever I want. I paid my money. How would you feel if like a crew member told you to come move along because it didn't look like you were eating? That would be interesting. I guess that would probably make some people upset. Now, let's delve into this question of, was it appropriate or was it neglect? And then there's a story blowing up over on Reddit and on TikTok about a pair of influencers that ditched their babies, put them in their cruise cabin so that they could go have dinner. And the way they decided to keep tabs on their babies in the cruise cabin, I think they're like toddlers, that kind of thing. I don't think they're very old, these kids. The way they decided to keep tabs on them is like with a baby monitor, a monitor of some sort. Let me show you this screenshot over here from Reddit. I haven't been able to find this particular picture on the social media of these influencers, Matt and Abby. They're big influencers. They got like 5 million people on TikTok. But this is a picture that is circulating, and it says, so we ended up taking them for 5 nights, and it became apparent that they weren't enjoying it, and therefore we weren't either. So they're talking about their kids. They'd been taking them to the kids club for 5 nights, and everybody was having a bad time. So then, and this is over a picture of monitors, so then we switched our dinner time to after their bedtime and faced them on the monitors while we ate. And that worked out much better for everyone. Now, before we go further, I guess it is probably the most fair to say it's just this picture that has surfaced. I haven't been able to find even this picture on their social media, so I don't know if it's been taken down, or I don't know what the full story is. So I don't know if these people are guilty of what they're being accused of. That's what I want to say. But let's take it as a concept, an idea. Should parents leave kids alone in cruise cabins relying only on monitors, or I don't even know how those monitors would work on the cruise ship. If you're using cruise ship internet, that seems questionable. That doesn't always work the way that you want it to work. I get the fact that they're saying, hey, we tried the kids club didn't work, so we tried something else. But goodness, man, maybe I'm too much of a helicopter dad. Anytime I went out with any of my kids, any place, vacation, there's no way I'm leaving them alone in a room. They can open the door. They can walk out of the room. There's a news alert. Several people have access to your cabin on the cruise ship. There's a master key that opens all the doors. Your room steward has a key. I'm not saying anything bad would happen, but I'm also not saying anything bad couldn't happen. Could you imagine that? You're just out having your prime rib and, oh, this horseradish is really opening up my nose. And at the same time, somebody's going into your cabin and doing stuff or snatching your kids. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. What do you think? Is this okay? Or is this neglect? I want to ride on a gondolier over in Venice. See you on the Lido. Bye.